right, good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, May 28th, 2024 Select Board, Hanson Select Board meeting. This is being recorded by Whitman Hanson Community Access Television. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our new clerk, Mr. Heel. Mr. Heel, please, if you could let us know what the public announcements and updating are. Great.
Thank you very much. We are looking for citizens at large to become members of the following committees: Bylaw Committee, Cable and Internet Committee, Community Preservation Committee, Capital Improvement Committee, Cultural Council, Economic Development Committee, Energy Committee, Historical Commission, McQuon Reuse Committee, Memorial Day and Patriotic Observance Committee, Recreational Committee, and the Zoning Board of Appeals. Volunteer applications may be found on the town website, www.hanson-mass.gov, or by calling the Select Board's office at 781-293-2131. This is a reminder that all elected boards, committees, and commissions must reorganize at their first meeting after town election and report that reorganization to the town clerk's office. The Hanson Historical Society is having an annual Strawberry Festival on Friday, June 14th at the Schoolhouse number 4, 565 McQuon Street, Route 27, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The price is still $8. Upcoming meetings of the Select Board, June 11th and June 17th.
Okay, awesome.
I've got two more.
Oh, please, don't let me get in your way.
I'm sorry, thank you very much. The Hanson Town Clerk's Office will be closing at noon on Wednesday, June 15th, and will be closed all day on Thursday, June 6th, for a Town Clerk's Conference. There will be a special voter registration session held Friday, June 7th, from 9 to 5 at the Town Hall. This will be the last day to register to vote, the June 17th special town meeting. Any citizen may register to vote online or by mail-in registration. Any resident citizen who will be 18 years of age by June 17th is eligible to register to vote by June 7th. Special summer hours. Starting Friday, June 14th, the town clerk's office will be closed all day on Fridays for the summer. And then we have a notice of the firefighter memorial Sunday. Please join us to remember those firefighters who have paid the ultimate sacrifice on Sunday, June 9th, 2024. The formation is at 8:15 in the morning with a ceremony at 8:30 a.m. at the Hanson Firehouse Fire Headquarters, 505 Liberty Street. There'll be a light breakfast following the ceremony. Thank you very much.
For anybody that hasn't attended, it's a lovely ceremony. It's a great way to remember people that have died in the line of service. It's also an attaboy and attagirl to those that are still serving, just kind of shows that you care. And it's a very welcoming environment. So I would encourage you, if you have no plans on June 9th, to try to attend. As far as new business, we have got all kinds of lovely donations that are being made, and we have the pleasure of getting to vote to accept them. We have $13,139.38 to the library, $2,650 to the DARE gift account, $275 to the Council on Aging, $262.50 to the Conservation Notice of Intent Fund. I will entertain a motion to approve and accept those donations.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And then we've got to accept a $1,000 Previty's gift card donation from the Hawley family. Who is that being directed to, Ms. Green or Ms. McDowell?
I would have to look that up, I don't remember.
Do you have it there?
Well, it was donated to the department last week and we utilized for the firefighter Sunday.
Okay, oh, firefighters, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have that in the motion. Okay, I will entertain a motion to accept the $1,000 Priorities gift card from the Hawley family for the firefighters Sunday.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Update on campaign to fill committee board vacancies. Emily Sprague in our office has taken a first pass at some descriptions for the various boards and committees that Mr. Heel just read that we have openings on. I've been reviewing them. Once I finish reviewing and tweaking them, I'm gonna have Emily send them on to the appropriate committee chair, because I just want them to have a sanity check, because there may be some nuances, or they may want to describe themselves slightly differently than Emily and I came up with. Once we've got that down, we're going to also include the time commitment in terms of general number of hours they meet per week, when they meet per week, if it's a board or committee that has a regular meeting, just so people can kind of wrap their minds around, if I sign up for this, what am I looking at? So we're chugging along, and I think by our next meeting, we probably will have a little bit more progress on, a little more material progress. But thanks for doing that, because we only had a few days in between last meeting and this meeting. Yes?
A little, just
Yeah.
one correction, Dave Hayden, on the Agricultural Commission, he's actually deceased, he's been dead for 3 years.
Okay.
Good
Oh,
friend
well,
of
we're
mine.
doing the appointment list in old business.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Well, I
but you
just saw
can still
that.
make a
I
note
saw
of that.
yeah.
We definitely don't want to be carrying people that are no longer able to be on there. Okay, anything else on the committee board vacancies that you guys wanted to update us on, or was that it in a nutshell?
That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, well, thank you guys for starting to, crack that nut, that's great. Update on website revamp. Where are we at, Ms. Green? What are our next steps? What's our ETA? Who's responsible?
So, actually, Emily Sprague again, has taken on the, website. She has reached out to the, company, Revise. They have given her administrative access, and she is gonna be working, Emily, do you wanna just talk a little bit about what conversations you've had with Revise?
So Revise gave me the access to the system, so I was able to see what kind of history has been done and what was done. And unfortunately, not a lot of stuff was approved or given to anybody for revisions.
And this is on the new website,
But
okay.
it
all
was,
right.
the final was approved, unbeknownst to, I believe, all of us. So now the challenge is any revisions that are done is going to be an additional cost per hour for Revise to make settings and fonts and colors and changes like that. Like, for off the bat, I just looked at the logo, and the logo itself was not the correct logo that was used. But I reached out to the account manager, and she was able to revise that for me and change the font settings and the sizes.
Okay.
But, I have 2 trainings set up for 90-minute sessions, and I think the first one's next Tuesday, and then the following week I'll be doing the other one, and that's gonna be, she said I'll be able to gain access and make some revisions on my own once I learn the software, but, I need to take a little bit more time to thoroughly look into the pages, but the format itself, is set, basically, so, but
Okay, if we think that that's a challenge, Ms. Green, I'm going to very strongly suggest that you reach out and you explain how we got to the place that we're at, and you push back on any additional costs. Because I think in good faith, if they're a decent vendor and they want to do business with us in the future, then they'll be a little bit flexible on that.
It was very unfortunate that none of this was communicated with anybody else.
I understand, but we're where we are and we have to deal with it, so.
Yeah, exactly,
I
yes.
think we need to advocate and push back, and then let us know if that doesn't work.
Okay, will do.
Did anybody have any other thoughts on that?
I'm just very pleased that someone competent is gonna take it over and do it.
I love your positive spin on that. Mrs. Rain, thank you very much.
Yep, no, I mean it, I want that website
I
fixed.
told her that you wanna work on it with her, so she.
I will, I'll help you, I
Once she's
don't know
in
how
the
to do
groove of
anything,
it.
but I can help you,
Yeah.
whatever we,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta start somewhere, and then I think we really have to, figure out a way to have each board and department and committee be responsible for continuously updating the material, because it's only as good as how often it's being refreshed.
Well, that's permission.
And if people start going in there and they're like looking and they're going, what the heck, this hasn't even been updated for 2 years, then we've got a complete loss of faith and confidence in the website, and what's the point?
Yeah.
So we've got to really get some rigor around that, and I know it's tricky with the committees and boards because they're not employees. But with the departments, I certainly think we've got some leverage, and I would expect that we would use that leverage.
Another one that's, somebody else in the town hall is good with coding is Joe, veterans.
I thought about that, so, as Mr. George is, and I know you don't like me to call him Mr. George, but I feel like, kind of like casual saying Dave down the other end there. Joe Gambakis, our veterans agent, is quite proficient, in IT.
He went to school for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and,
know it.
and he may be willing to kind of like mentor you a little
Yeah.
tutelage, I don't know, if that's,
I'm fairly confident in it. I mean, my previous job, I designed the website too, so.
I think Steve Burke would also, be
Yeah.
open, because he's helping us through this.
Yeah.
I think he would be willing to, talk you through it, and maybe, even sit down with you if you've got questions afterwards, so.
Yeah.
We do have some resources for you, just don't feel like you're out there, paddling on your own, trying to keep it going, but we do appreciate you taking the, initiative on that. Well, that brings us to our veterans agent discussion, so, how do you want me to refer to you, Dave?
However
Dave?
you want.
Just Dave?
Just
Okay.
Dave.
So Dave down there was,
Hello.
having a conversation with, our veterans agent, Joe Gambakis. And, as you know, everybody's on top of each other at town hall. And our veterans agent has not had his own office. And he is only part-time, but he is discussing very personal things with people, and people that may not necessarily, it was probably quite a leap for them to even ask for help, and then to come in and have to discuss it with somebody is even more, out of their comfort zone. So we want to try to make it as comfortable as possible for our veterans agent and for the veterans coming in. So we've been tossing around some ideas about where could we put him. Ms. Green had suggested that he could go to the senior center, and although that was well-intentioned, and I do think that they would have absolutely loved him, and he probably would have gained about 50 pounds after he went there, because they'd be, stuffing him full of goodies. I think that he has expressed that he'd still kind of like to be at town hall, and he feels as though if he's at the senior center, he's still potentially going to get, he's using an area that they're going to use for other things, and he could get kicked out or have some
Like some permanent.
yeah, he needs something permanent, so we want to do right by him. So, we just kind of were brainstorming prior to this meeting, and I'm spatially challenged, so I said to Ms. Green, we gotta walk around, because I can't visualize. So we went to Mr. Gambakis's office, and then we went to, which is currently shared with the registrars who work, with the town clerk. And they've got some file cabinets, but not huge amounts of file cabinets. And what they require is a table and their 2 little file cabinets. So what we think we're gonna, do is, see if we can speak to the finance committee, about allowing the registrars to move their 2 little file cabinets into the historical room, which is not used by them except for the nights that they meet. And they do store some items there, but it's not used. And then that would allow Mr. Gambakis to stay where he is, to keep his files where they are. It's a very lovely little location, because it's right up at the front of Town Hall, so the minute you come in, it's right on the right. You don't have to look around, where's the veterans agent, have to wonder where they are. We've still currently in, I would say, quasi-negotiations with the finance committee to see what their thoughts are on that, but I'm hoping that they arrive at the right conclusion, which is that it is very little disruption to their life, but a huge improvement in the quality of Mr. Kabakis's life, and the registrars will be fine, so I think it's a win-win-win. I think it will all be fine, but it's a ball in motion, so that's where we're at with that. Did anybody have any thoughts on that?
Well, if
Any,
the-
yes,
Mr. Hill.
Mr., oh, yeah, thank you. Because we might just go totally casual, we might just start doing initials, I don't know, okay.
It's fine.
All right.
I'm just kidding. What does that do to the historical room as far as
Really
meetings?
no, so you could still meet in the historical
There'll
room.
just be more
Mr.
file
Gambakis is working during the day, so his hours are like, till 4 o'clock
Yeah.
on,
But
you know.
there'll be 2 more file cabinets in there, so?
They're little, I mean, they
Okay.
literally, I don't even, know. They're like
think if
little
we moved
skinny,
the desk-
they're index cards. When I say
the
file
desk
cabinets, they're index size, 2 index size
Oh, okay.
card
Oh,
cabinets.
never
So
mind.
we're talking about like
Okay,
this.
I thought you
Yeah.
meant like the,
No, not the full, no, so people can still meet in there, so
Good,
there's a
okay.
very
'Cause
large
people do
wooden
use
desk
that,
that I
right.
believe can be removed from there, which would also open up a lot of space, so, you know, and just generally, I did mention to Ms. Green that, you know, town hall is just drowning in paper, and there, you know, which is kind of mind-boggling coming from like the paperless world that I come
Paperless
from, where
society,
everything's
yeah.
scanned and electronically stored, and I deal with, you know, all kinds of compliance stuff, so I know that they do too. But in the state of Massachusetts in particular, Beth Sloan, our town clerk, was saying she has to keep the hard copy. In my world, we don't have to keep the hard copy, as long as you have a duplicate
Right, that's how it is in my
electronically.
world, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, because you're in the financial services, yeah.
I actually
yeah,
work in
yeah,
records
yeah,
management.
Yes, so, one of the things I think we need to think about, from just, you know, just a variety of perspectives, not the least of which is the mental health and like, just more morale for the people working here, so they don't feel like their offices are gonna implode on them, is what can we do to store stuff off-site? We use Iron Mountain, we did years ago before we went fully electronic. You've got to have somebody who's very precise about record keeping, so you know what's in that box you sent off, because otherwise you've just got this like mosh pit of boxes that you've sent off and nobody even knows what's there and you can't retrieve them, which isn't helpful. So it's a process, it's a huge undertaking. It's something that won't be done overnight, but I know both the town clerk, who is planning on retiring next year, and our town assessor have both indicated a concern about the number of records here, about the, you know, the condition the records are kept in, because we don't have any, you know, we don't have the climate, none of that stuff. Yeah, you must have a nightmare thinking about this, if
I
this is
do.
what you do for a job.
I do
So,
it electronically.
yeah, so for all of those reasons, this is something we're gonna look at, which was kind of triggered a bit by this whole Mr. Gambakis thing. So it's just like a domino effect. We look at one little thing and it just, it goes. Okay.
It seems like a great idea to me, to have an
We'll have to
an
cost it
office.
out, you know, and see, but, you know, I think we can reorganize, do better use of space,
Yep.
you know, all of that. So, that's something we're gonna look at. So, vote to accept change of officer directors for Hanson American Legion, post number 226. So in your packet is,
This piece of paper.
as you know, we need to have, people on record. The new manager would be David George.
There's also new directors, that's why we've already approved it, but we need to reapprove it because there's also a change in directors.
Okay, where is the change of director on here?
At the top where it says, check on
It
the
does
very
say
top.
the check, change of office, direction.
But it doesn't list who they are. We don't need that? It just needs to be checked off that there's a change?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have it already because
We've
Mr.
already
George
submitted
has already
it.
All right,
submitted.
I will entertain a motion to approve the change in the liquor license for the Hanson American Legion Post 226 as printed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? All right, amazing. Okay, then that brings us to old business. June 17th, special town meeting warrant review. Ms. Green?
Okay, so we do have in the packet, our warrant article for the June 17th special town meeting.
There might be two because I brought a new one that's not highlighted green.
Are you saying the one that we should be looking at is highlighted green?
No, it should not be highlighted.
It should not be.
Should not be highlighted green.
Is it highlighted at all?
No.
Okay.
Then mine is highlighted green.
Does it look the same?
Do I have a copy of this one?
Yeah, there.
I didn't find another one in here.
Yeah, I don't have another one, Ms. McDowell.
Neither do I.
Nope,
Yeah, that one.
we don't got it.
I'll print out.
Is it the highlighted portion that's changed, or?
No, that's just not, should not be highlighted, so it's all the same,
Oh,
just without the highlighting.
oh, okay.
we can ignore the
Okay, yeah,
highlight.
we can just, we can improvise, we can handle that. Okay,
Can
so,
we sign it?
well, I think that's probably, you'll have to
This is the one that
print out
we signed.
a clean one,
Yeah, this
okay.
is the one that we
All right,
signed.
so Ms. Green, we're gonna lay that up, what can you tell us about it?
Okay, so basically, we have the article, and I'll read this to you. So basically what we're doing is we are, having the special town meeting to vote the budget, with the school assessment minus, an override question. So the budget that's gonna be presented will show approximately $372,141 in budget cuts, with the numbers that they will be getting. The Finance Committee is meeting this evening, to discuss those. So Article 1 will be to see if the town will vote to rescind its approval of the town's operating budget under Article 5 of the May 6th, 2024 annual town meeting, and to determine what sums of money the town will raise and appropriate by taxation, transfer from free cash, transfer from town ambulance funds, water department revenue, water surplus, Title V Special Revenue Fund, MWPAT loan repayment receipts reserved for appropriation, conservation notice of intent fund, overlay surplus, and fund balance reserved for reduction of future excluded debt, to defray charges and expenses of the town, including debt and interest, and to provide for a reserve fund for the 2025 fiscal year, or take any other action in relation thereto. Under the explanation, this article refers to the FY 2025 annual omnibus budget. At the May 6, 2024 annual town meeting, the town approved the omnibus budget in Article 6 and disapproved the contingent appropriation for the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District. The disapproval of Article 6 resulted in the rejection of the budget as assessed by the district. The original budget request was $14,974,735, $14,602,595 was approved at town meeting, and the contingent appropriation of $372,141 failed. Subsequent to the May 6, 2024, subsequent to the May 6, 2024, I think there's something missing there.
Subsequent to the May 6, 2024
The
town meeting,
Town
it should be,
meeting, yeah, should be
the
in there.
school committee,
Pursuant to law, revoted and resubmitted the school assessment of $14,974,735 for this town meeting's consideration. The purpose of this article is to present and deliberate upon the district's reassessment and determine whether to approve, 1, a reduced budget for the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District as previously approved, which would be sent to the school committee, who would determine whether to accept the reduced amount or reject it and force a district-wide meeting. 2, approve the full school assessment with reduced services in the town's budget. Or 3, approve such other budget as may be deliberated upon by town meeting. So
May-
this is like the article that will be presented. I'm sorry, it does continue on the last page.
May I just make a suggestion, because, I mean, I don't want people to need a decoder ring to make it through this explanation. So I'm wondering, can we, just, so where you say, the purpose of this article is to present and deliberate upon the district's reassessment and determine whether to approve. Can we bullet those things, just so it reads like, here's a choice, here's a choice, here's a choice? Because it's kind of like like all together. And I think people would be able to wrap their minds around it better, or at least I would, if it's boom, 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 these are the three choices.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Do that.
All right, and then you're gonna make that tweak, so it says subsequent to the May 6th Hanson Annual Town Meeting.
Can I make one other picayune
Go for it.
pick? 14,974,735, semicolon, or period.
Okay.
It should be a semicolon because you're not supposed to use a number to start a sentence, so I would semicolon that, please.
Okay.
And the decoder ring for me is up here, is that it's saying that the original budget was approved, but then they came back with the same number.
No, it's not the same number.
No, I know what you're saying, it's not
It's very,
crystal clear about the way that it's written. Is there a way that we
okay.
could say, so this article refers to the FY 2025 annual omnibus budget. At the May 6, 2024 town meeting, the town approved the omnibus, why are we using the word omnibus budget?
It's Kate's language.
Okay, I
Yeah,
mean,
this is town
does
council's
anybody
language.
even know what the hell that means? It just
All
adds like,
encompassing, right?
yeah, I know what it means.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't know what the word omnibus means, I'm saying it just adds extraneous words that don't need to be in there.
I agree with that.
Okay, in Article 6, and this is where I think it jumps the track, Ed, or Mr. Heel, if we're getting less familiar. Article 6, and disapproved the contingent can we just say did not approve the contingent appropriation for the Whitman-Hanson Regional School
That's what it
District?
did. That's,
Yeah, we did not approve, disapproved, I don't know, it's just, is it me, or is it?
no, I think that you need
Town
to,
council's language. so-
Yes, I'm sure it is, it reads as though an attorney wrote it,
and it's not wrong, it's just, it convolutes, it's
Yeah.
too wordy.
Yeah, okay.
And then, so then if we can say, and did not approve the contingent appropriation for the WIP, the
makes more sense
disapproval
to me, yeah.
of Article 6 resulted in the rejection of the budget as assessed by the district. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
The original budget request was, yeah, this is where it gets weird.
Yeah.
The original budget request was $14,974,000.
Town meeting approved the 14, say, take that second 14 million out, and say, town meeting approved,
Yep. That
uh,
sounds-
I agree, new
14,602,000.
sentence, yes, yeah, new sentence, yep.
So, town meeting approved,
Wait a minute, so you wanna say, town meeting approved,
the 14, yeah, 602, 595.
even though it says the original budget request was 14,974,000.
It
Right.
says that in the
It
first.
says,
first
the original
sentence.
budget request was $14,974,735. And then to Ann's suggestion, town meeting, however, comma,
Okay, there you go.
town meeting approved the different
The
amount.
contingent appropriation,
And the contingent appropriation of $372,141 failed.
And should we put something that
Contingent
that this is the difference between these two numbers? Or
We
is
just
it-
did.
I mean, I know
Contingent.
it's known, but is it?
the
Are we working
contingent
at cross
appropriation.
purposes? I thought we were trying to clear, like.
No, you are.
I'm just giving you a
No.
hard time.
No, I
It says
think,
the
I just,
contingent.
If they budget
It
on
says
anything,
it, the contingent,
just sticking with
Yeah.
their number.
the
Yeah.
contingent
I get what-
appropriation.
It does say
real.
I agree with you, Ed, because I
He's
feel like.
saying they
you're-
don't
you're
know
all-
with it.
You're all
Just
talking
wanna-
about it as if,
Yeah.
'cause you're all in the know, you pay attention to these words and these aspects of this a lot more than the 300+ people that are gonna show up. So I think the more information and the more lay you can make the language, the more you're gonna have informed voters. You're
All right,
gonna
well,
get
we
a
need
real-
to do it tonight, so do we have a suggestion?
Sure.
Because these guys
I'm
need,
just backing what
Yeah.
Ed's saying, that's all I'm going with.
yeah,
I was just saying to add something that says that the 372,000 some odd is the difference between what was requested and what was voted
See,
upon.
that's what says the contingent appropriation.
Yeah, but he's saying, can we say that in a different
different
way?
way.
Like, basically what we're saying is,
I'm not the lawyer here.
yeah, no, I know that, but I think what, like, the way it was, we were describing it consistently was the delta between what was
Yeah.
requested and what we appropriated.
Right.
But,
So-
you know,
So how about
What
if I
we-
put
what
the
we-
contingent, keep the contingent appropriation and put, fail, and then put the delta?
you could put in parentheses, the delta between what was requested and what was appropriated. Does that help?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I just think having a
Okay.
fresh set of eyes.
All right, now we're
Makes
gonna
sense.
make you read it back to us.
Me?
Yeah,
This article refers to fiscal year 2025 annual omnibus budget.
no, we're getting rid of omnibus.
Annual budget.
Yep. Sorry, Lynn.
At the May 6, 2024 annual town meeting,
Where is it now?
the town approved of the budget in Article 6 and did not approve the contingent appropriation for the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District. The disapproval of Article 6 resulted in the rejection of the budget as assessed by the district. The original budget request was $14,974,735. However, annual town meeting approved $14,602,595, and the contingent appropriation, the delta, of $372,141 failed. Subsequent to the May 6, 2024 annual town meeting, the school committee, pursuant to law, revoked and resubmitted the school assessment of $14,974,735 for this town's meeting's consideration. The purpose of this article is to present and deliberate upon the district's reassessment and determine whether to approve. 1, a reduced budget for the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District as previously approved, which was sent to the school committee, who would determine whether to accept the reduced amount or reject it and force a district-wide meeting. 2, approve the full school assessment with reduced services to the town's budget. Or 3, approve such other budget as may be deliberated upon town meeting.
Okay, now, one other thing, it seems to me as though, I think I think that we are contradicting ourselves, because this contradicts ourselves. So we're saying in the first sentence, this article refers, blah, 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 in Article 6, and, not approved, and did not approve the contingent appropriation for the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District. And then we say the disapproval of Article 6 so we say that we approved the budget in Article 6 and disapproved the
disapproved it.
contingent appropriation, but then in the next sentence, we say the disapproval of the Article 6, so it's like pick a lane.
But
I
think it's the wrong article. I think it should have been
It should have-
Article 7
Yeah, it should have
or
been
8.
7, probably.
The second one is Article 7 or 8?
Yeah. It's supposed to say that we approved the budget, which I think was Article 6, and then disapproved the subsequent article, which was, I'm
Yes.
guessing is 7.
Article
Yes.
7.
I just don't know whether that was the intent, or that's how it's supposed to read. And then, from my sense, because I really want to go into this meeting without anybody thinking that we're using lawyer speak to like pull something over on people. How does the article to say, someone's gonna have to say, I make a motion to see if the town will, whatever, someone's gonna second that. And then the explanation has 3 possible outcomes for this motion, so if this motion passes, which of the 3 outcomes down below are we gonna get?
Like, do we vote on the 3 options?
No, there are gonna be,
There isn't.
no, there's going to be, there's going to be.
It would have to be on the floor.
There's 2, we're absolutely trying to avoid people making cuts on the floor. We want to be thoughtful about what the cuts are. We don't want to be flying by the seat of our pants and having somebody cut the veterans agent or some other crazy thing that, that we haven't all thought about, and what are the ramifications. So, no, we're going to, after FinCom meets tonight, they're gonna come back, and that part isn't gonna be done tonight, because we won't have heard back from them. But at our next meeting, we will have heard back from our town accountant and FinCom as to their suggested cuts. Now, ideally, we'll align, but we may not. We may say, you know what, FinCom, no, we don't think that that cut is where we wanna cut. We have some other needs that we think need to be preserved, and good for you, you guys stay in your lane, we'll stay in our lane. But there'll be two things essentially presented, which is budget without any cuts, what we passed at town meeting, which is the 5% increase. That's the way it is. We're not making any cuts. We're not cutting any services. And in essence, that would be yet another no back to the school district with that budget. Then the second piece would be, we're not saying no, we're saying yes by making cuts in services in other budget line items. And those will be side by side just like we presented the line budget at town meeting, we'll have a line budget for this, which will show where we're cutting. The third option, the reason we've got that is because somebody could stand up at town meeting and go completely AWOL and cut things that we hadn't anticipated that aren't listed in the warrant, but that's what town meeting, allows. So we're not suggesting number 3, we're suggesting 1 and 2 are gonna be presented to town meeting to decide on.
So either 1 and 2, are we either approve this, and 2 is we disapprove it, and then 3 is we disapprove it somehow with different line items?
You're basically given, that's why I'm curious, because the explanation in the article, they're not congruent for me. If we vote yes at town meeting for Article 1, what happens? The explanation's supposed to tell me what happens. But it's not. It's giving me every single option under the sun, which is obvious. So if I approve Article 1, what happens?
Number 1.
I just sent a quick email to Kate, and see if I can get an answer
Number two.
from her about the
I
three
think it's number
options
2.
under the
I don't know.
application.
And if we vote no, then it's option 1. And then if someone wants to make an amendment on the floor, then it's option 3. So this explanation is not, to me, if I was the casual or semi-casual town citizen coming to town meeting, knowing that this is something I'm passionate about, want to know exactly what I'm going to be voting for if I vote yes or vote no, knowing that most ballot questions in general always have yes means this, no means this, and it's always counterproductive. Even me reading this right now, I don't know what I'm going to explain to people.
What I'm hearing is, should we have it say, instead of 1, 2, and 3, should it be a yes vote means this, and a no vote means this?
I actually think we should do something different. I think we should have 2 articles. I think the first article should say it's staying the same. We're not making any change, the explanation, no, with the Article 1, the explanation would be, we're not gonna rescind anything. Really, Article 1 only works with, why would we wanna rescind if we're gonna do the exact same thing?
Yes, but Article 1, the wording would be the
Yeah,
same.
we'd use,
The
so
explanation
we'd have
would be-
Article 1, and then you'd have, the explanation would be, to approve the full school assessment with reduced services in the town budget, right? Because if you're rescinding, why would you rescind if you're not reconsidering the entire town budget?
Exactly my point.
Okay, so those 2 go together, and then there'd have to be another warrant article that, would, let's say it's Article 2, that says,
We're going to make these cuts.
we don't do anything. We're not
I think that's what Article 2 is. If you vote no, Article 2 becomes, here's the matrix of all the possible cuts. You determine, because that's what it sounds like you're working on right now. You determine what are the cuts that are gonna be made. Because I guarantee you, you're gonna have a whole bunch of people showing up to vote yes for this. You're gonna have a whole bunch of people showing up to vote no for this, and you're gonna have a handful of people, small handful of people, that are gonna try to make a decision on the floor based on the information that we provide.
Yeah.
The yeses are gonna wanna know what yes means, nos are gonna wanna know what no means. I think if you're gonna go the 2 article route, Article 1 is a straight up yes or no. If you vote yes, this is what it is, and then if they vote it down, then Article 2 is where are we cutting it from? Because those no votes are also gonna wanna push that those cuts come from the school committee, in the school budget specifically. So if you want to arm people with the most amount of knowledge possible, you're going to have to put all that stuff down in a very specific way. Otherwise, it's going to look like we're not.
It is going to be, we just don't have it tonight because we don't have it from FinCom. It will be in a very
The
specific way.
explanation shows 3 different options for an article, and I don't even know what
I
yes
agree
vote
with you,
means.
so I'm saying, I think that we need to
We need
to
two
split
articles.
split this up. And I don't even think we need to say approve other budgets as made deliberated by town meeting. That's implied.
Exactly.
It's always implied.
It's always an option.
So I think we have Article 1, which is tied to explanation 2, the second bullet point. And then you have another article that is, however we word it, we're not changing anything. The article that was, the budget that was passed at our last town meeting is the budget that we're sticking with, and we're going to go back to the district and tell them that that's the budget that we're sticking with, right? I mean, those are
Yeah,
the,
that's exactly
those are the
what I'm
two lanes. I don't.
It's a great idea.
So then that way, it's not just this, like, it just seems like this crazy,
Do we need to put
The average
that
person's
together
not gonna
now,
know
or
this
do we
is the way it's
gonna
written.
do it over the week and?
Now, how far ahead do we
Yeah.
have to
we
have
have
this
to have
done?
this by next week.
Okay, so that means we're meeting next week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, are we,
I would like that, because I want to go over whatever matrix presented.
But I won't be here.
we're going over the matrix that's going to be presented before town meeting. That was always the plan. It just wasn't gonna be next week, because we weren't scheduled to meet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the warrant needs to be posted by June 3rd, Monday.
Mhm.
So the board would need to meet again this week.
This week.
to
Well, then
go
we
over
need to
this.
meet again this week. We have to get this wording correct.
Yeah.
We only literally have one decision to make at town meeting.
Right,
We gotta have a meeting just to get words right.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
because it has to be right. It's not right, it's gonna cause more chaos than it's already. We don't need
So,
it.
just, I wanna make sure you guys are clear on the direction that we're
Yeah.
giving you. What are you
Completely.
hearing from us?
We basically need, we need more clarification on the options and whether this needs to be just, we need to break this up into two different articles.
Yes, we wanna break it up into two different articles. We really don't want it to be one big mosh pit of everything that could potentially, like, generalized anxiety of everything that could go wrong, or right. We need it to be clear, and we want the two articles to be, we do nothing, we stay the way we are, the budget stays the way it is, we make no changes, or the second is we
Does Article 1
we
stay the
change.
same?
So do you want to set it up
Yes,
how it was?
Article 1 stays the same.
Stays
We
the
also
same.
need to make sure that we are properly referencing the articles from the prior town meeting.
Article 5.
Okay,
Five
That's
and
what I
six?
thought, yeah.
we
5
talk
and
about
6.
5, we
Talk
talk
about
about
six.
6.
I think you're right. I think, yeah, I think the budget was
So my
5.
question is, do you want to set it up how we did in the May meeting where we had Article 5 and then Article 6 was just the delta,
Article 5 was,
the budget?
and Article 6 was the, can you expand on that?
Article 6 was, let me just pull it up here. Was the additional $372,000 from taxation to fund the assessment from Whitman Hanson Regional School.
Right, so that was the override article. We're not doing an override, but yes, I see where you're going. So sub in reduction of staff, of services and staff to the override and structure it the same way.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so, other than that, any other changes? Insert heavy sarcasm. Okay. All right, so,
That means we
when,
need a
when
meeting
do we
this
think we
week?
could get that, because you have to post,
I have to post on the 3rd. And,
Thursday's meeting would have to be posted tonight.
otherwise it's Friday. Otherwise it's
Or it's
Friday.
Monday.
So I'll
I
need
would like
post.
to give us some time, because if we don't like what we get, I want to
Thursday
be
or
able to push
Friday.
back again.
Not Friday
So
night.
if we wait, if we push it until,
Thursday
and don't
night.
meet until
Friday
Monday,
afternoon.
then,
Oh, we can't wait till
Yeah.
Monday.
yeah, because it has to be
Thursday
posted
after-
Monday.
I would suggest tomorrow or Thursday. I think
Yes.
that's-
Well, we can't
I cannot
post for
be here
tomorrow. We
Not
can't
gonna happen.
post for tomorrow
That's before
anyway.
the
So it'll
hours.
have to be it'll have to be Thursday? Do we have time for Thursday? Or could it be Friday?
I don't think you could make it Thursday.
Well, you have to post it.
You'd have to post it tonight and make the meeting for like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
For Thursday.
do people wanna do Thursday, or do you wanna do Friday?
Friday.
I think it's gonna need to be Friday evening, or Friday,
Not evening.
is anybody able to do it earlier on Friday?
No.
Or want to do it earlier on Friday?
Well, how late do you wanna do it on Friday?
I don't know what people's availability is.
I'm available. I'm just not a happy camper on Friday night, but we'll do it.
Cause
Friday's
I'm
good.
supposed to be away.
I can work with Kate and get this done. I just need to know what time you wanna meet so I can post it. So I'm gonna print it up now and have Emily bring it to Beth.
What time is it right now?
Now it is.
Let's do 7 o'clock on Thursday night. Can you make that happen? Okay.
You'd have to keep.
And I
post now.
appreciate that you're supposed to be away, Lisa, but I'm sorry, but this is, critical, and it's a critical part of your job, so I don't know what to say. If you feel as though that you can review it and it will be in good shape for us to meet on Thursday, then you make your own decision on that. But I can't think of anything more important right now for us to be dealing with. And if this had been in better shape, then we wouldn't be even having this conversation, so, it's unfortunate. Did anybody have any questions? Okay, all right.
Well, I just, so this explanation was written up by Kate, and she didn't see any folly in 3 different outcomes?
The 3 different, I'm not factually saying that what she's saying is not right, it's the way it's
No,
presented.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, like, she's factually correct, but, you know, you do have to look through the lens of, is an average person,
Right.
you know, maybe attending town meeting for the first time ever, or maybe they just haven't attended a lot or whatever, but is the average person gonna understand what we're saying?
Right.
And you're right, Joe, because then people start thinking you try to hoodwink them because it's so complicated, you can't figure out what the heck you're trying to do. So, all right, so I think we've beaten that up to, now, so this is gonna require, Lynn, that you post immediately, and you're gonna have to turn up the heat on Kate, Lisa, to get her to revise this.
And the signature page has to be revised.
Hate to suggest this. Should we put a tentative meeting in there for Friday? Because if we don't set one up now, we can't
We
do
just
it if
did.
on Thursday.
No,
I'm saying if
He's
on
He's saying if
Thursday,
they
He's
can't
right.
pull this off
Oh,
on
they
if
can't.
Thursday.
we can't pull it
Absolutely
off
right.
Thursday, we
It's
would
not a
at
bad
least
idea.
have an
It's a-
option.
no, it's a good
You're
idea, it's a
100%
good
right.
idea.
You should have
Yeah.
one for Monday, too.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, just,
Monday I cannot come.
I don't want to be in front, don't get me wrong.
all right, I mean, just to be clear, it's not like, you know, I want to meet either, but we've
Nobody
got a
wants-
job
No, I
to do,
understand that,
so.
but
This is-
I have to take it.
So what
I-
time
This is what
it
happens,
but
consequences to
situation.
actions.
Yeah.
I don't get paid.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
saying that to you,
yeah,
I was
no.
saying it generally, I'm sorry,
I don't
but,
get paid.
yeah. Okay, so you're gonna post for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday? Okay, that would be great, all right, great.
Those are kind of definitely no.
All right, communication plan update. So we had discussed, last week, how are we going to let people know what's happening? And who's gonna be responsible for that? And was I imagining that there was, I think we've got a plan, right, Lisa?
Yes, so we are putting it in the Express. It's on our website, it's on Facebook. We have a board posted upstairs by the front doors. As soon as you walk in, it's right on your left. We have it on the digital sign, and as of June 1, the sign, the old-fashioned sign, that message is done, and then we will put it up on that sign.
Awesome.
We also have the sandwich boards.
Yes.
That we'll place at the fire station and the library. We'll have the sandwich boards there. That's what we have so far.
What about, leveraging the school, you know, they can send out something, and then does Mary Collins at the senior center have like a bulletin she can send out to the seniors?
We will get that.
And once we have this worked out, should we send that somehow?
send the,
The two articles to have to print it out at the library and senior center.
did you hear what Mr. Hill's suggestion was?
What they, with the articles printed out at the
Once
library,
they're ready.
Oh, yeah, we do that.
we will have them, they will all be printed out,
They usually have some in the lobby here.
Yeah.
and then-
But that's part of the communication
Yes.
plan
Oh,
we're
yes,
talking
yes,
about.
as soon as we get the language correct and get this, posted and everything, then we have them printed up and then scattered
Post them on the
out.
website.
Wait, can I just go back to agendas? If we're gonna post for Friday, what time do you wanna do on Friday?
Done before.
I don't think we came up with the time. What time are people able to?
I'm gonna
5:30 is the
abstain
earliest.
from the time decision because there's enough other people that
That
have
was the
time
town
constraints and
council.
I've got limited.
What time can people meet on Friday?
I can't commit, I don't know.
What's best for you,
I
Ann,
don't
if there
know.
was a best
The
time?
only nights that I have issues are Monday and Wednesday, other than that, I'm.
Okay, what time are you
Whatever
able to?
works.
5:30 the earliest.
5:30 is.
5:30 is the earliest?
Yep.
5:30 is fine.
Okay.
That works.
5:30 then, I guess.
Will you be here? Good.
We need
Okay.
to.
And then Monday, what time are we posting for on Monday? This is just contingency, worst case scenario type of stuff.
I just wanna see this one before I do this one. So what time on Monday? Do you wanna do 5:30 as well?
Can people do 5:30 on Monday?
And what time is Thursday?
Okay,
7.
I have to take a night off.
If they get it in
it's
on
fine,
time.
it's fine. Okay, so, 5:30?
Monday, 5:30?
Yeah, yeah. But actually, doesn't it have to be posted on Monday?
It's gotta be posted on Monday, yes.
So what's the point of us even
You
meeting
can't meet
on
on
Monday?
Monday.
So I don't know what.
Never mind.
So we gotta pull this rabbit out of the hat by Friday. Okay. So I can't emphasize enough that you gotta turn up the heat on Ms. Federoff and get her to turn this product around quickly.
No, actually, it has to be done Thursday because,
There was
Yeah.
a question.
Once you
that,
get
we'll
it.
have to give it to
Oh.
the constable
Yes.
on Friday.
She needs to sign that one?
I mean, sure, yeah.
More like opinion, just suggestion.
You gotta go to the microphone. You have to go to the microphone.
You could I mean,
Can we hear her?
yeah, you can just say who you are, it's fine.
Hi,
Yeah.
Stacy Sabag from High Street. I think it's like a 5th grade level, everything should be geared to for most people, like we're assuming finished high school. The way that's worded right now, I mean, we seem like we're pretty smart, but that was like, what?
Yeah.
I think a lot of those words just have to go, it's way too confusing
Yes.
right now, so that's.
She has to write it in English, in other words,
Yeah.
not legalese.
Yeah.
But if we're paying her to do it, she should do it right the first time, she
Yeah.
should know.
The explanation doesn't have to be legalese.
No.
At all, the article.
Right, everything's gotta be done.
I think that's what where we're heading, so hopefully we'll get
A
there.
lot.
Okay, and if we don't get there Thursday night, then we'll get there Friday night. But we'll have a bunch of very unhappy campers on Friday
What night are
night.
you saying Thursday?
We'll get there Thursday.
What time?
What time?
Five,
We'll get there
did we say
Thursday.
5:30 on
Joe, can you
Thursday?
get here
If I have to do it myself.
On what day?
Thursday.
Thursday and Friday.
You would, if both of them at 5:30.
Yeah.
On Friday.
Rob, could we have a
Friday
brief
morning.
recess? Thank you.
On Friday, we can
We
do
nix
it
the Monday.
Thursday night,
Thank
they
you.
could sign it, and then she will get it Friday morning.
Wait a minute,
So
Emily,
they
what's
can
the
sign it.
problem?
She will get it on Friday morning
Yes.
for the constable?
Yes.
Great, and welcome back to our May 28th, 2024 Select Board meeting. So we're just coming back from a brief recess. Ms. McDowell and Ms. Green, are we clear on our timing? We know the town clerk absolutely must have this posted by Monday. Ideally would like to have it on Thursday, but that is not going to happen because we can't post. We can't go on the Wayback Machine. We're here, we have to post at least 48 hours. So Thursday night, 7 o'clock, we'll post for. Friday, 5:30, we'll post for. And I hope that, no offense, I don't see you people on Friday night.
I will see you
Right, I mean, we all have, things that we're gonna be doing. And we'll hope to get through it on Thursday. All right, any further discussion on that? Amazing. Okay, great. So then that brings us, we've got the communication plan, down pat, overflow logistics. Ms. Green, we did have somebody reach out to us, based on, the, incredibly large number of people that showed up at our annual town meeting, which is something we always wish for, but in this case had not planned for, because it so seldom happens. At this special town meeting, I want to make sure that we're armed, we're ready for things. We're ready for enormous numbers of people. I mean, and you know what, if we're disappointed and we have to shred some paper, I'd rather just have to shred some paper. But I want to make sure that we've got enough warrants, that we've thought about the space, that we have talked to the town moderator about an overflow contingency. In the past, I think we discussed this last week, in the past, and it hasn't happened often, but we've had to use the gymnasium, and we've had a teller in there with a microphone, and somebody has to just kind of run back and forth and just keep that flow, so that room isn't feeling as though they're somehow cut off and they're not really deliberating in part of town meeting. So it does require a little of coordination, but it can be done, and it has been done. We want to make sure that we're communicating with the school district, that we're going to need seating in there, that we're gonna need the audio-visual stuff in there. And I think you guys said you already spoke to the town moderator, and he's picking up what we're putting down?
He is available.
Okay, great. Mr. Hill?
As far as the amount of warrants, since we really don't have a good idea how many people there are, is it possible to say we're gonna print 200, but have a printer there? Is it,
No,
no?
no.
Because
We thought about that the night of town meeting. It's just we want to make sure it's done right and thoughtfully. And I I know you're on the Energy Committee and and I get that, but we may kill a couple of branches of a tree just trying to get some
No,
paper
I just
to
don't wanna
people.
have too
Yeah.
few. We don't know if it's gonna be
no.
300 people, we don't know if it's gonna be 400
No,
people.
I think we're probably gonna I personally would print as though, I'd say at least 600. I know I'm
Okay.
being, but.
Oh, that.
No, I think you're right, I
I'd
think it
say
should
at
be
least
600.
at
I
least
hope we get that
600.
many people.
And then have Charlie on the ready to print them out,
Okay,
have a
that would be
contingency
perfect.
plan if we need more.
So we're meeting in the.
I
what
thought you were
room?
going green on me.
No, I wasn't
All
going green, I was going.
Which is your prerogative,
I was
just to be clear, yeah.
I just didn't want people to be upset for not having a copy.
If we can have the monitor set up so we can post the warrant.
I do think, honestly, regardless of whether we had enough warrants printed or not, I do think going forward, it would be helpful to have a monitor so that people can follow along, because I know a lot of times, I remember when I used to attend town meeting and it was new to me, it's hard to follow along sometimes because people are, like you're thinking, you're trying to process it, people are getting up and talking, and then you're like, wait a minute, which article are we on? I just think for clarity to have that language up there so people could see it, I think it would be helpful. People might have different abilities, maybe they need to see it large print or whatever. So it's certainly not gonna hurt to have it up there. If it can be done without a lot of
So I'm gonna
fuss.
find out, I think so.
Okay, all right. But we're definitely gonna need to have a screen, in that gymnasium, at least with the picture of the town moderator up there.
And it doesn't make sense just to start off in the gymnasium and, like what, we're doing it in the auditorium,
Yes.
and how many does that seat?
I think 300.
Maybe 300 to 400, somewhere in there.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
that might be
There
fine.
was, there were a lot of empty seats, there were people.
There were
standing.
empty
Yeah,
seats.
there were a lot of empty
Yeah.
seats.
They weren't all full.
And I do think, I'm hoping that the town moderator will encourage everybody to sit down.
Yep.
I think it, lends itself to a, more of a protocol. And I think that is something that we could definitely, encourage. And in the past, we've never allowed people to stand, and congregate because, if there's seats, you sit. But that said, I don't know, my sense is there would have still been empty seats, but I'm not 100% on that.
Okay.
We might have had a little overflow there, and that might have been part of the problem, so. All right, so logistics, we're good on you're gonna work on the overflow, and we'll have that all set up. What about childcare?
Yes.
Yep, I reached out for that.
Okay, and then Mrs. Rain had mentioned, because not that long ago, she had gone to the senior center, and folks had asked, rightly so, is it possible that we could maybe leverage?
I've made some phone calls
Yeah.
and emails, I haven't heard anything back, other than one of them was booked.
So for council on it, could we work with Mary to see if she could do something, you know, I was thinking about this, Ian, and honestly, I was thinking, should we just ask people to volunteer? Then I'm like, a lot could go wrong with that
yeah, a
picture.
lot could
So
go wrong with
then I was like, that's probably not a great idea. The liability for everybody involved wouldn't be that great. But we do have that Council on Aging bus, which, for instance, they used yesterday to shuttle some of the veterans, you know? And I think that if we had, you know, I don't think we're gonna.
driver. The
Yeah.
driver does not drive at night.
Oh,
From what I understand.
that is somewhat
Bob-
limited.
Bob does not
Okay.
drive at night. I don't know if they can get another driver or not, I'm not
Well,
sure.
that's my question to Mary.
Right,
I'm gonna
right.
ask
I
her.
don't know if they can get a different driver, a younger, you know, someone younger that's, licensed to do
Yeah,
it.
I don't know if this person, the person I'm thinking of, I'm not sure if he's licensed.
And, you know, I don't know, can we just, and if we can't pull it off for this, I understand, but I do want to
We
think
are
about
working
it.
on it, yeah.
You know, it is something, it's a valid concern, somebody brought up, and if we can do something about it, I would like to do something about it. Because I think, we wanna make sure we've got a cross-section of everybody at town meeting, that's what it's about, is, you know, and I know, like I was saying to Ian, my own mom, she doesn't feel comfortable driving at night. She's totally competent driver, but she just gets very nervous at night with the night
I
vision
don't
stuff,
like
you know?
driving at
Yeah, I personally, the older I'm getting, the less I like driving at night too. So if we can try to, you know, again, if we can't pull it off for this town meeting, totally fine, but can we just, you know, explore? Is there a bus company? Is there, you know, what do other towns around us do? Do they have anything for their seniors? Does Mary have any ideas?
The only problem is that the biggest issue is that people don't wanna drive at night, so they're not gonna wanna drive to
No,
a
you're gonna
central
have to pick them up.
location. They're gonna have to pick them up.
Yeah,
And that was the
Yeah.
rub with the
Yeah, you're
places
gonna
that I
have to
talked
pick them up.
They-
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So, that's why I think, that, like, the little shuttle bus with some, you know, yeah, if we went to like one of those limo companies or something, we'd pay ridiculous
Oh, no,
money.
it's,
So
yeah.
it's gotta be like some well-intentioned little volunteer, or
Right.
somebody who's willing to help us out. All right, so, I know that was a lot to unpack. Anything else on logistics? No, okay. All right, great. Then that brings us to adopt Town of Hanson financial policy. So, Ms. Green, when we met last week, at the recommendation of our town auditor, and, because we have got, Ms. Stolfer, who is on the precipice of, submitting a grant for the library, which requires our financial policy. We had a financial policy that needed to be reworked, and it also needed to be reviewed by town council. So where are we at now?
So I did go through, every page and updated any typos or, duplicates that were there, so I went through every page. Town council had the prior copy, but I sent Kate this one, letting them know, you know, please, expedite this because we need it basically by the 30th for the grant application. So she did respond back that they are reviewing it and they will have it to us this week. So she is reviewing it, and what you have is the updated copy with basically all the duplicates, all cleared out. The auditor is now gone, mayor is now gone. It refers to the select board only, or town accountant, or treasurer collector, or assistant collector, where appropriate. So all of that's been updated.
Okay, so, I think what we had discussed last week is if we did not have this back from town council, that we could take a contingent vote, and that this vote would be, for the express purposes of helping Ms. Stolfer get her application in for the library, but that we would revisit it, as the ongoing financial policy, for the town, contingent upon our town council getting back to us.
Yes.
And also, frankly, I'd like our auditors to take a look at it and see if they think that this meets the criteria for what they were hoping to see. Because I know they've mentioned it just, you know, cryptically, we haven't gotten dinged for it, but they've sort of mentioned like, hey, you guys should really.
What is her deadline?
Her deadline is the 30th.
30th.
Yeah. So she was very nervous last week. I spoke to her. I said, look, Karen, we didn't adopt the policy because it needed to be cleaned up. We weren't trying to, you know, no,
May
May
30th.
30th. Yeah, it's this week.
This week?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's this week.
Okay.
So, so that's why we were talking about the contingency vote,
Right.
because we gotta try to help her get that over the line. Did anybody have any, questions or comments on this? Okay.
I do. So I'm okay with voting yes on this as it is, but if we are gonna use this moving forward, just a couple of quick things. There's still a couple of sections where it says this policy was adopted in September of 2021. So just, basically everywhere where it has the references, it's still like underneath there, just kind of like buried into
I
it.
got all those.
Yeah, no, it's fine, I just think it just looks like it's buried into the references pieces, so it's just,
Oh,
it's
okay.
consistently like all there.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And
it's in the
then,
references. Okay.
The biggest, example of this would be the part where it talks about, the credit cards and stuff like that. It's referencing a distribution policy, and I don't know where I would even find that to like cross-reference this. And it's titled, it's capitalized, it's title of something, so I'm hoping we have a distribution policy that someone would go to. It's referenced on page 13 of 29. It says the town's disbursements policy. And I was looking through this a couple times trying to figure out if that's just like another section of this, or if it's something else. So I just look at that one if you don't mind. And then what would not hurt if we are gonna adopt this long-term, for me anyways, is if we had a glossary on the first page, so I knew where all these things were, and then if you really wanna get super, super fancy, if we could like, a glossary. And then if we could be really fancy with it someday and like put in hyperlinks so that we can connect these things to the general laws and the distribution policies and all the stuff that it's referring to. Otherwise, I have no idea.
I liked all of your suggestions up to the hyperlinks, because hyperlinks change, and then the minute you put a hyperlink in here, now we're gonna be obsolete if we put in a hyperlink.
Yeah, but it's up to us to keep that.
Yeah, it's up to us to
Maintain.
yeah, do that. I think, because this should be part of a larger
This is
policy.
usually a once and done unless we change something. We're not constantly gonna be revisiting to make sure that the Mass General law that we've cited hasn't changed. I'm just, if you guys want the hyperlinks, we can put it in. I'm just, this is a lot of what I do for a job, and I would not encourage
Right.
hyperlinks to.
And reading it, would it
Laws.
have helped to go look at the general laws where it was referenced?
That-
Or do you-
this- So
does it
again,
make- does it-
in Laura's vein, this is what I do for a living too, and I always am cross-referencing these things. So for me, it's helpful to know that whatever distribution policy we're talking about is the one that we're all supposed to be reading. Otherwise, you're gonna get the 2013 version when I didn't know it was
I'm
revised 6
fine
times.
about the distribution policy. I'm talking about the Mass
I'm
General
using it as an
laws.
example, I'm even been talking about those too. Yeah.
So I think we should probably have we'll have town council opine, and then we'll have our town auditor take a look at it.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't change my vote to accept this, because we have to do that. What I'm saying is that if we are gonna go long-term with this, I do think that we should have a glossary in the front, and then just remove some of those other last-minute things.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to accept the financial policy for the express purpose of, providing it to our library director for her filing, that she is required to do this week. And we will revisit the long-term, adoption of this policy after the changes have been made and our town council has opined.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Great. All right, and that brings us to review proposed 2024 appointment list. Did anybody have anything they wanted to mention about this?
Well, I've already mentioned, David.
The emergency communications center.
Which one is that?
Vacancy, it's on the second
That-
page.
Those, yeah.
You can plug me in there, because
Lisa, did you have anything you wanted to point out, or?
Did you hear Dave?
No, I didn't.
He said plug him into the Emergency Communications Center Operation Committee.
Well, we need to take votes if we're gonna.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so, let's go through if there's any, changes, and then, we'll. Okay.
Is the Agricultural Commission 6 people? It's not an odd number?
No, it's never been an odd number.
It's what?
It's never been an odd number. It's an odd number now,
It's an even number now, right?
So your term supposedly
ended
ended,
in 2023.
but you still want to be on it.
I'd be happy to be on it if it helps. I don't know about Steve Krogan, I don't know about Teresa. You know, these people have to be contacted and asked.
Yeah, have we,
The signature page.
and we don't know whether those guys have been sworn in for, the agricultural?
I don't think they have.
I don't think they have either.
You
I
don't
don't
think
think they have,
okay.
no.
All right, so can we reach out on those, to these people? And just find out? And can we need to look back at the bylaw for creating the agricultural commission to determine what the, membership number was? Because it's not willy-nilly, there's usually something specific in there. I just don't happen to know it off the top of my
I
head.
think it was just the 6 people, Steve, I can never remember the lady's name, Nancy
Capellini?
Capellini,
Yeah.
she was on it too.
Okay.
You
All right,
sign that.
animal
I
control
will.
officer, area, okay, bylaw committee, we've got that, cable and internet, now, so these are the ones coming up for July first, we've clearly got more members, but these are the ones coming up.
The ones that are
Well,
up for
I did
reappointment.
send both. I sent the entire list of everybody who is on a committee with their dates and if they have been sworn in. And there was a second page that's just to be approved for
Okay.
this year.
All right, so, for instance, I thought Mr. Clemens was saying he did not want to be reappointed, in July, to the Conservation
I
Commission.
believe so, yes.
Have we gotten something formal from Mr. Clemens on that?
I don't know.
Could we reach out?
We haven't received anything formal,
If we
so.
could reach out, that would be great.
Am I missing something?
And are we annually reappointing our conservation agent?
This is the whole commission. No, the conservation agent. Are we?
No.
I did that last year, so I'm just going what I did last year.
Can you check on that? That's a
Okay.
little weird.
I was looking more at the conservation commission, only this one person. or
Yeah.
is
No,
it
this is terms ending this year,
Got
so
it.
it's the
not?
reappointments.
Got it, yep.
So,
Oh, it's a
okay,
different one that I
yeah.
was looking at, okay.
All right, any other cleanups that we need, any little tidying up that we need, little housekeeping? And you're saying, David, you would like to be on the, so the emergency communication, which one did you want to be on?
Got one now.
Where's the
Where's the
communications
vacancy?
center?
That's for, that's for the highway director?
That's the department heads.
Oh, okay.
The reason that that's vacant is because we don't
Oh,
have anybody
I got
as
it.
our highway director
I
yet.
gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's got like Kurt McLean question mark.
The highway building committee's the same.
Yep, yes, same thing. All right,
What does it take to be a fence viewer?
good vision?
I
don't know.
guess, yeah.
Good vision and good measurements, I guess.
You're not even really measuring it, you're just viewing it.
Yes, you're just viewing, really. Mr. Weeks, I know you said that there were some resignations from the High Street Park Committee. Has anybody actually tendered their resignation to the town yet? Okay,
Nothing I'm aware of.
okay. So if you could send a note to your committee and just ask if they could tender it before we have the reappointments, because we don't want to reappoint somebody to something that they've verbally said they didn't want to, because then it just gets to be a nightmare. That'd be great. All right, highway director. Okay, I mean, I think we're in pretty good shape, I think. I mean, we've got vacancies, but, most of these people, I think, are, engaged and showing up at meetings, which is always positive. Okay,
Is nobody from, is capital improvement on this somewhere?
I don't see capital improvement.
I don't think anybody was up for reappointment.
Really?
For capital improvement?
Yeah, someone
What do you
has to
have?
be,
Ask Frank Chelsea.
somebody has to be out.
Okay, yeah, so check with Frank. And we've got time, because this isn't happening until July 1st. I just wanted to get ahead of it and, you know, like, have the conversations with everybody. Do you still want to do this?
Thank you for doing that. It's much cleaner.
We don't want to fly by the seat of our pants when unnecessary to do so. Okay, I think, all right, I think we're in good shape. This is great, and thank you so much. I know this was a lot of work to do, and we are deeply appreciative of it, because it will make the process a lot better when, when the time does come to do this. So if you can just reach out to the Agricultural Commission, figure that out, and then the other, reach out to Frank about capital improvements, and then remove the gentleman that Miss Rain mentioned.
On the
Something to do with
stormwater
something else?
committee, I think there's only 5 people, and it says there's a vacancy of a 6th person. That might just be a confusion.
Yeah, stormwater management. Ernie, Dave, you, Dawn, and Paul Benedetto. Yeah, I'm trying to think, who else would we have missing? Right, because we wanted conservation, so we've got that
That's me,
covered with you
yeah.
and Dave.
Yep.
And then Ernie was just well-intentioned and had done it before. Paul Benedetto's the planning person. And then Dawn is very passionate about it, so he's there. But, yeah, I can't think of anybody we're missing. Can you, once again, can you go back to the stormwater management piece and
I was gonna reach out to Dave.
well, you may want to go back to the creation of the committee. Like, see if there's a bylaw or minutes when we created it no, we just resuscitated this like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like within your term.
Yes.
Yeah, you were here.
Yes.
So we definitely will have some minutes or something about what the composition of that committee was.
We don't have Recreation Commission on here either.
We don't have Recreation Commission because nobody's term is, we don't have
We don't
people
even have term.
appointed
People that
who are
have a term.
expiring. These are expiring terms.
Oh, so we wouldn't even hold the vacancies, so, because it's.
No,
not-
this is to reappoint, it's the reappointment.
No, I
so-
understand that.
Yeah.
But just because the vacancies were there, I keep it consistent, we're not doing that for this commission.
We don't have,
There's only one person, so there's no, I don't know how, I was kind of torn about putting vacancy versus
No,
not.
it's fine.
Because there were, the ones that felt were vacant, that were up for reappointment, I did put in,
Right,
and Recreation didn't have any.
okay, that's fair.
we're using this to reappoint. So when
Yep.
we have those votes in July, we're just gonna hopefully look at a very cleaned up version of this and it will be amazing. Okay. All right, well, we beat that little nag to death. All right, meeting minutes, May 14th, 2024. I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 14th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, one-day liquor license, for 7/6/24. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, but the check is undated. Just saying.
Yeah, it is undated. What happens with that, Ms. Green?
We'll have to reach out to the,
Yeah, why don't we defer on that?
we'll have to reach out to, have, Dory reach out to them and bring us another check that's
Okay, so
dated.
put that on our next agenda, please, Ms. McDowell. Committee updates, nothing on economic
Did you already
development.
deposit it?
Do we turn it over?
Yeah, it's already
Why are they gonna
submitted.
give you another check? What's
Well, we don't know if,
We don't know.
well, we just wanted to make sure that it's been deposited and it didn't get rejected. Because without a date, that would be a little strange.
Yeah, they catch stuff like that.
It's already been turned over, yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'll check with Lisa to see if she got it back.
If she got
yeah,
it back.
okay. We've got time. It's not until July 6th that this event is being held, so it's not, we don't have a gun to our head. Economic Development Committee, nothing on that. High Street Park Committee,
Nothing.
okay. Highway,
Nothing.
nothing. McQuon, we've got a whole, outline of what we're gonna do, and I'm thinking we're starting to enter the summer months. So what I would like to do is come up with a date, I don't know if we should try to do it. I guess we're gonna have to do it sometime in September. Maybe the third or fourth week in September. See if we can reserve, the middle school, Hanson Middle School cafeteria. And then what I'd like to do is see if we can get, somebody to facilitate, Ms. Green. I don't know who, but we've done this for community preservation. We did it for the High Street Park Committee. We've done it in various forms. We've had, maybe somebody from OCPC would be willing to come and facilitate for us. Okay?
They can reach out, yes.
Okay. Recreation Commission, we've got some work to do around this. I think we need to really describe what it is that people are gonna be doing, and then we've really got to recruit, because, we've got people that are not gonna be doing the High Street Park, Committee, and we don't have anybody to transition that to. And that's gonna leave a property without any kind of oversight, and we also don't have anybody coming up with recreational programs for the town. So, does anybody wanna take that on as their mission? Anybody wanna
What, the High Street
spearhead,
Park?
no, spearhead the Recreation Commission?
Recreation Commission.
Does anybody feel passion in their heart for this?
Yeah, you can put me on it.
I was only, but that was easy though, Dave, you really caved, I only had to look your way.
Exactly. I'm not
but,
really on any committees. so-
Right.
Are you sure?
Yeah. you can put
Okay.
me on it.
All right, well, thank
What do
you.
I do?
Lynn, do you still have that mission vision that we created?
I believe so.
It might make sense to pass it off to him,
Yeah.
so we can use that.
And did you say that you were interested in the High Street Park?
Yes, I am interested in High
Okay.
Street Park.
All right, does anybody have any problem with either one of those, appointments, with those guys doing those things? Okay. All right, so, Ann, if you can add her onto the High Street Park, Committee, and if you can keep her in the loop, and as people are peeling off.
Do you only need one person for that?
Joe's in a better position to know what we need, I don't, how many people are you gonna need?
I don't know. I have to look.
Okay,
I could,
I
can be on Mondays.
Stick with what I got.
Yeah, Mondays.
I could also be on the record. I mean,
First and
to me,
third
it's
Monday.
kind of like something, it kind of like crosses over.
there is a symbiotic relationship between the two of them, for
Right.
sure.
That's fine.
But maybe you just do, for now,
High Street.
yeah, and then you can
Yeah, and then-
cross-pollinate
yeah, okay,
as
all right.
things go along. Cause I just don't want,
No, I-
Joe to feel like he's got the whole thing on
Right,
his
no, no,
shoulders
I get
there. Okay, and I haven't heard anything on the regional school agreement, and I don't expect to hear anything anytime soon.
Well, I talked, I don't know if this, I'm not on the committee, but I don't know if this is related, but I talked to, the chair for your request. She told me that you talked to her right before I had talked to her. Basically saying that she's not, the committee is not interested in meeting with us, that she is open to collecting a series of questions, and, we could submit, and then she would answer the questions as we have them. So, if you have any questions,
It won't be an open discussion?
No, to be clear,
I can read the
She
email.
called me and told me you had contacted her. I did not contact her before you contacted her.
Okay. I can, if you want, I can read
I
that.
don't care what the email says, I know what happened. She called me and said, I just wanted to let you know, Mr. Weeks reached out. And because as a chair, she just wanted to, I said, yeah, I knew he was gonna reach out, we discussed it at our meeting. What are you asking?
If I'm gonna collect the questions.
He was saying that we're gonna give a list of questions, are they just gonna go through a list of questions that we provided and basically talk to us, or we gonna
No,
have a
what
communication?
Ms. Stafford had said was that she she said, well, are we gonna be deliberating? I said, well, no, we wouldn't be deliberating with the full committee, so it doesn't make sense to have both groups come to. But she said she and Mr. Simonek would be more than willing to come. She said we could have the Hanson members come if we wanted to. We could have some combination, she and Hillary could come as the chair and the vice chair. I think she just wanted a sense of the questions. I don't think we're like restricted to like only them answering those questions. I think she just wanted, in case there's some preparation she needed to do.
The idea of the questions, like the type of
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, and I said to her, well, the obvious question that came up that precipitated all of this was the adding of the staff with the one-time money and why you did it and how you came up with that decision. I said, and it keeps coming up. And I said, I know you've talked about it at your school committee meetings. And I know that you guys have discussed why, but I don't think, unless somebody sat through the entire school committee meeting and listened to that portion of your meeting, they don't have an explanation. And she said, well, that's something we could come and talk to you about. So that's where we left it. So, but she said, I think we need to get through the vote. And I said, well,
This is way after the vote.
well, I don't know when it is, but it's
Yeah,
after the
gotta
vote,
be, yeah.
I really got a sense, I said, the bottom line is, our board feels that we all need to do better communicating. And we've said this before, and then we wait, and it just doesn't happen, so there's gotta be more ongoing communication. But I did say to her, I truly appreciated, Jeff coming to our meeting,
Oh, definitely.
talking to us. I'd like to see way more of that. That was awesome. It's something.
So how are we gonna go about getting this list of questions? Do we need to have an agenda item for us, or are we just gonna submit them
Oh,
to?
just give them to Lynn,
Lisa?
or
Okay.
Lisa. Well, Lynn will probably be the one collecting them.
Okay.
And then we can just,
Discuss them?
yeah, discuss them, and I'm sure there'll be overlap. I'm sure everybody
Yeah.
will have a lot of the same question, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the first step is to get them to Lynn or Lisa?
yeah, and then we'll work on their availability. There's some, some personal constraints that people are working with, there. So we just need to try to give a little bit of heads up so that people can schedule, backup care for people and what have you. Okay. But that's not the regional school agreement committee, but I don't think we're gonna meet anytime soon on that. Anything else? Okay. Town administrator report, Ms. Green. Huh?
I didn't know if she has a reason.
Oh, Mrs. Cafardo, did you, were you just coming here because you just love us and you can't get enough of us?
I want you to have some company. No, I want to come, but.
We did vote to approve the policy, just for the express purpose of Ms. Stolfer submitting her application. Because it needs a little bit more work, and we want our auditor and our town council to sign off on it too. But we know Karen had a deadline, so
Yes, we did.
just
We
as,
voted tonight to approve the facilities assessment plan. From Olds and LLC.
okay,
Approve that, and you'll be getting a copy of this, bound copy you can tell me.
Okay, excellent.
I did want to make a comment about the check that's not dated. Most banks do not honor those. I worked in financial services. Because you really only have 6 months to cash that. So unless it's already cleared their account,
well, that's what we're gonna check.
We'll check with,
It may have
treasurer
gone
collector.
under the radar.
Yep.
So, we'll see. Okay, Ms. Green.
Okay, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board. So on Friday, I don't know if you remember, but Plymouth County offered their member communities cybersecurity assessments at their cost, at no cost to the community. So I did attend Hanson Cybersecurity Assessment on Friday. It was about 2.5 hours. Josh Whitman, the Whitman IT team, Josh McNeil and Steve Burke joined us for this. There were about 15 modules that they went through. Hanson miserably failed majority of them. There will be a report, it's gonna take them about a month and a half, 1.5 months to, put a report together that, they will be joining us to talk about this, and we will be presenting it in executive session.
What was evaluated? What was the evaluation?
I can't remember all of the different modules, they were
Or
a
was
little
it
bit.
for like personal email access? or-
Basically our firewalls, our
Oh, okay.
networking
The
systems,
technical stuff.
I
our,
Yeah,
would
the
very
technical.
strongly urge us not to, talk about the results of that,
Right.
um,
I just wondered what they
in
were
the event that
evaluating.
it would be something that somebody would want to
Yep.
use.
well, that's why it would be an
Okay, yeah.
executive session under our strategy for,
okay.
personnel security devices.
Yeah.
You say we're 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, my eyes were opened on Friday. I'll leave it at that, so more to come. I would like to recognize our Veteran Service Officer Joe Gambakis for his efforts in coordinating the Memorial Day Parade. There is a lot of work that goes on to that. He did secure, a Brigadier General Joseph Morrissey Jr., and he's the Chief of Staff and Air Component Commander of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, as a guest speaker, for that. So, the weather cooperated, so it was good that the parade could go on, as scheduled as a tribute to honor those who lost their lives serving our country. The brownfields assessment that we.
I did just want to say, I know that some people had expressed a few little concerns. This was, Mr. Gambakis' first year doing it on his own. And we are taking those concerns under advisement and communicating to Mr. Gambakis. And we're always looking for ways to improve.
Always
So.
room for improvement.
Yep.
The brownfields assessment that we did receive through the One Stop for Growth grant program, is complete. In Verdantis, they did find some contamination. It is located, isolated in the vicinity of the smaller of the two buildings, so the back building. Unfortunately, I can't repeat what the name was because it's a very long chemical name, but they are generating the report that we will get. But because the level exceeds, the level that DEP finds basically satisfactory, we do have to report this to the DEP within 120 days. Tony DeFrayas, town planner, is adding a grant application to the One Stop while we're still in compliant with the MBTA, for cleanup. So we are expecting to get a, cleanup report from Verdantis with a a dollar figure on that. So we're gonna be submitting for a grant for the cleanup for that area out there. The larger of the two buildings.
Is there any explanation for why we would have been told that we had a clean bill of health, which some of us doubted? And now we're finding that that's not the case?
It was before my time when the town accepted, the donation for that, so I don't have an answer for that question. The larger building, there was nothing found at the larger building, which is the front building.
Yep.
And the majority of the forest area that is to the right of the building, they did not find contamination in that area. So it is fortunate, it's a small area that's isolated. So we are gonna pursue some grant money while we still can to clean up for that. Highway Director position, we posted that on May 13th. We have not had a big response to it with applications. So I did speak with our town accountant today. We have 2 vacancies, in the Highway Department. We are not going to fill one of those vacancies. We are going to take some of that funding and we're going to increase the salary to $120,000 because we are not competitive.
Why you think you're not getting qualified candidates?
Yes, exactly, yes. Because, at the salary we're advertising, we are not competitive, so we did not get a big response for that. So we are going to increase the salary to $120,000, and we're going to repost this, on Monday at the higher salary in hopes that we get more, response and more resumes.
Did anybody have any
Did we
thoughts on-
get any resumes?
Yes, we did
Two.
get some, not qualified people,
Okay.
let's put it that way. don't, you know, not the
Not good
qualifications
matches.
that
that?
we need.
Yeah.
And we have it on Indeed, we have it on,
Right.
it's been in the Express, we have it on our website, so it is advertised, it is out there. And just not getting responses. The assessor, again, the assessor position is also posted, and we have received some resumes for that. The deadline is June 3rd, so we're still in the practice of collecting resumes for that. And we are
As our
getting some.
assistant assessor,
Assistant, well, we don't really wanna talk about that in advance.
well, I'm wondering if she's also applied.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes, she has.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, she
Okay.
has. She has applied, and we do have some other applicants as well, and we have that on Indeed, that's on MMA, we've had it on the website, and it's in the Whitney Hanson Express.
And again, the Board of Assessors will make that decision.
Yes, yes. And that concludes my town administrator report for today.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Green?
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh.
Are we going to make a public announcement about the fact that the, transfer station stickers are expiring and they have to be replaced by July 1st?
I do not plan on
I don't-
making that, but.
Do we have the
Well, we
information
should.
about how
I don't-
much
I don't
they're
have
gonna
any
cost?
information.
We
So-
really should make it, I mean, the townspeople need to know about it, I don't know if it's our job.
That's the
to-
Board of Health
It is the Board of
responsibility
Health
to tell us.
responsibility,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I just know that I'm gonna go buy one, and
Yeah.
you know, don't wanna be caught by surprise.
can we reach out and ask them when if they've decided on the pricing and, timing and all that stuff, but yes. Because I don't think they want everybody there, whatever, June 30th, or whatever the last business day is.
I mean, it's interdepartmental communications, I understand that,
Correct.
but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's the townspeople that are gonna suffer if they don't know.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn, but we're going to executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions and preparations for negotiations. Thanks for visiting us, Mrs. Capardo. With non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, town administrator, deputy police chief. Executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Litigation discussions. Executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Administrative, I think it should say professionals union. Executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to review and approve executive session minutes not to be released May 21st, 2024. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Aye.
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 And we will not be returning to open session. Thank you.